Greetings and salutations, folks. My name is Nick, and welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition, where today we are going to return to the Deep Roads, to the first of the two DLC parts of Dragon Age Inquisition that we had already started. I don't even know how many episodes ago. It has been so long, but we started it too soon. So I put it off for later. And we will go back to it. But first, two last tasks in the Hissing Wastes. We have that dragon to fight over there, and the Tomb of Farafel to explore. I imagine this is going to be the most powerful dragon, as it is the last. But you know, I'm reminded also of a actual quote said by a living human being in my vicinity. This was during the generation of Xbox One and PS4. Was it? How does time work? Yes, it was. And I was in a Walmart, and I was overhearing a customer talking to an employee, and the customer said, "The Wii U must be the most powerful system because it is the newest." Just because it's the last one in the market does not necessarily mean it's the strongest. In this case, based on RPG progression, you know, it might be. Whee! Sandy Howler! You will face doom! You know, I can't actually hit anybody on horseback. Okay, so far his health has not budged. Okay, now his health is budged. You can do a regeneration potion. And of course he has armor. Of course he has the armor bonus. Hold on. Throat so dry. What exactly are you doing with your flapping wings? Okay, so we're at somewhere between 8 and 10%. No. There we go. Alright, now I think we're at 20 to 25%. This is going to be... this is fairly possible. Unless he pulls out some tricks that I'm not aware of. I'm aware of that trick, sir. Like, the big trick is less like something he does and more just making sure your attacks actually hit him. And unfortunately, nobody has any bees, which is fine. But we can hit him with that. And I can, is he jumping it right now? Oh, but he's still affected by it. Alright, you know, that's fine. And we're looking at about 45 to 50% done. Excellent. Alright, this actually is... Like I just said, just because it's the last one on the market does not necessarily mean it is the most difficult, the most powerful one. I want to say the last... There's one in Emerald Graves that was more powerful than this one, or at least it felt more powerful. Oh, here we go. We got ads. Wow. Very rude. You can also drink regeneration potion and not stand in... Or you know what? You know, we have 12 health potions. The Sandy Howler is almost dead. It is almost dead. It's at like 25%. Now it's like 15%. Ah, more ads. That's okay. We're almost there. In fact, we might even be able to defeat the dragon before we defeat the ads. Oh, never mind. It armored up. There we go. 10 out of 10 dragons. Fantastic.
Is everyone all right? Yeah. I mean, yes. I'm alive. Really. Alive.
That last burst of flame nearly roasted us.
Nice. Robes of the High Keeper. Alright, that actually seems better than whatever Solus is currently wearing. Max stamina upgrade, alright. Warrior only. That is worse than what Cassandra is currently wearing. Although sometimes, like, yeah, that is worse. Solus, that is also worse, I think. Great. Good job, inventory system. All right. That was pretty straightforward. That was relatively quick. And now on to the Tomb of Farrell. No longer guarded by the Sandy Howler. Do I have to do any puzzles in Farrell's tomb? No, I just have to show up. Pretty close to finishing this mosaic, but alas, not close enough. Ooh. Still also not as powerful as the dagger I'm currently using.
I've never seen a rune like this before. Is this what the Venatori were after?
I mean, maybe. Who's to say, really? All right. We are done with the Hissing Wastes. Cradle of Sullivan. Do we have to go there for any reason? Have I already been there? I'm pretty sure I've already been there. Which means it is time to return to the deep roads. After all these years, so many centuries have gone by. Civilizations have been created and destroyed, and rebirthed and forgotten during these many, many ages of time. Actually, if I had to guess, it's probably been like 20 episodes. which is a good, like, 30 hours ago of gameplay. But we have tons... Oh my gosh, why did everybody just float down? We have tons of power now, so we can go and do these expeditions. There are no expeditions on this table. The Inquisition has identified an ancient dwarven ruin near the darkspawn nest at the bottom of Hydron Tig. A bridge could be built to access this ruin. Yeah, sure, why not? Build it before the darkspawn even notice a bridge has shown up. The construction team completed a bridge near the darkspawn nests in the ruins of Hydron Tig that will allow Inquisition forces to explore the ancient dwarven ruin at the bottom of the cavern. Make sure to be well equipped for a fight. I'll try my best. The Inquisition has discovered an interesting artifact halfway down the ruins of Hydron Tig. A construction team could build a bridge that grants access to the large monument in the center of the cavern. With one letter to the University of Orlais, I can have scholars clamoring to help pay for the construction of a bridge to this monument. The construction team has completed a bridge halfway down the ruins of Hydron Tig that will allow Inquisition forces to explore the large monument in the center of the cavern. The Inquisition has... I clearly have left stuff linger for too long. The Inquisition has identified a location near the entrance to Hydron Tig that is ripe for exploration and recovery efforts. A construction team could build a bridge that grants access to several dwarven ruins at the top of the Tig. My scouts will ensure the construction team's safety, a patrol of soldiers. We have the coin to hire the best dwarven engineers for this task, and we'll spend none of it because it's not really... The construction team has completed a bridge near the entrance to Hydron Tig that will allow Inquisition forces to explore several dwarven ruins at the top of the Tig. Alright. Oh, hold on. People have leveled up. More power has grown amongst my party. Sarah, you can... be better at elixirs. I don't know if you actually know how to use those. I don't know if I know how to use those. How often are you going to be attacking from behind? Armor bonus. Yeah, that sounds perfect for Cassandra. Another 20% armor out of nowhere? Sure. And you can have a more powerful wall of ice. Alright, I'm not entirely sure where the next section is, because I don't think I can really fast travel too much. Oh, there was a completed operation there. That's the entrance to the Tig. Alright, let's fast travel here. And then work our way towards the next thing. So it turns out the next thing is directly in front of me, where I had immediately moved on towards. Which is okay. That's fine. That's what I get for not paying attention. So we've got that statue there, and those Tigs over here. Let's explore this direction first. She climbs slowly, but, you know, she climbs automatically. So, you know, I guess that's fine. Why, hello, Deep Stalker. And now I've got all these extra damage bonuses, which is going to make fighting all of these bad guys a lot easier to deal with. I require 4 blood-stained ancient gates. Or gears. I have no idea. I have 4 now. Alright, and now the fact that I can actually kill these Darkstalkers in like 1 hit. Like, I feel that the leveling up has definitely helped me out for this area. Why, hello, emissary. Oh my, that did like nothing. Emissary, you have lots and lots of health. You are also very tall, but that's already been noted before. Like, he has so much health that the cooldown resets on my more powerful attack. I claim these recovered artifacts for Orzammar. That took a... That was a little bit difficult to say. I'm not used to claiming things for organizations that are not the Inquisition. Why do you keep respawning, Deep Stalker? Who needs stairs when you can just fall? Can I summon my mount here? Okay, no I can't. Also, having 12 health potions is going to be a huge benefit here. Because the last time I was in the Deep Roads, I only had my limit of 8. So not only was I underleveled for the experience, but I also had very few potions to use. So... I guess that's it. On to the next thing, then. You know, I actually don't think I've been here. There's this kind of weird plate thing for me to pick up. The Nug King! All praise the Nug King. Sate his appetite with cheese. Older is better.
Why is this here? Perhaps there's a use for it.
The use is to satiate the Nug King? I don't know. Alright, it looks like the next completed operation is down... my gosh, that was so close. Oof. Is over here, heading up to that statue. Not entirely sure how they built these things. How does one build a bridge across a precipice where you have no access to the ground? below it, at the very least. Like, I suppose you would need to have some means of walking, like, a temporary bridge to walk across the whole thing. You would need a base, like foundations and supports at one end, foundations and supports the other end, and also I probably should play Bridge Constructor if I really wanted to have a better idea as to how that worked. But as it turns out, I've only started playing... I started playing Bridge Constructor, maybe played like the first few levels, and that's about it. And there are a lot of ladders here. They spent a lot of money on ladders. I claim this tomb for the Inquisition! Monument to Hydron the Deep. This lonely podium is carved from a stone pillar reaching up in the darkness. From the inscription, Paragon Hydron's remains are entombed here under a massive stone likeness of the legendary dwarf. At this vantage point, it is hard to appreciate the scope of the tribute. It is hard to appreciate? Or easy? I claim these artifacts for Orzammar. What do I get out of that? I guess I get a few things. And now I've got to walk down all of those Now I've got to climb down all of those ladders like a sucker. All right. All right. It looks like the last operation is down here. Let's see if I can find any gears. Dwarven mugs, lost memory. World's best shaper is stamped into the side of the mug in an obnoxious script. I can only assume that obnoxious script is Comic Sans. I was going to say, no jump, loot, but then the looting began. Oh, no, don't use the switch. No, don't, still use the switch. We need you to jump. Oh my gosh. The problem when you have the same button... Oh, no. I'm trying to jump, but... Oh my gosh. The game instead wants me to interact. Like, if you go back in time to Conker's Bad Fur Day. Conker's Bad Fur Day is one of the earliest games that I can think of that utilized context-sensitive buttons, in which the button function changed depending on the context. Like, that idea has developed over time to the point in which that context changes depending on what you're nearby, like what other buttons you're pressing. Though you can also see the idea of context-sensitive in much earlier games, such as like Double Dragon, where you have a punch button, but that punch button becomes a pick-up button when you're close to a weapon that's on the ground. Video gaming has always kind of had context-sensitive. But like with, let's say, are we still talking with Double Dragon? I think we can do this with Double Dragon. No. What was that? Damn it. There was a beat 'em up that came out. Streets of Rage is the better example. Streets of Rage is easier to do this discussion with, because Streets of Rage 4 came out. And let's see, which direction am I heading in? Let's take a left. In classic Streets of Rage, you only had 3 buttons, because there was the stronger expectation that you would only have the 3-button controller. You had your special attack, you had your regular attack, and you had your jump. When you were near an item on the ground, your regular attack became a pick up a weapon. So if you found yourself with a weapon next to a weapon on the floor, you would just repeatedly cycle out your weapons until one of the weapons disappeared, or you just got punched inevitably by a bad guy. In Streets of Rage 4, we upgraded to modern-day controllers, because Streets of Rage 4 came out on the PS4 and Xbox One. And you have all these extra buttons. So they just moved the pick-up weapon button onto a different button. So if you wanted to pick up a weapon, you just used a different button. There was specific, permanent buttons, rather than... Ooh, there are more mugs. Ever's experience. This cup is cracked. It has clearly seen action and no longer holds ale without leaking. These are specific buttons that always do the thing. But modern gaming has kind of like found itself in such a position where, like, even though I have 4 face buttons, 4 shoulder buttons, 2 buttons that are the analog sticks, I have a button that I hold down, and then 4 more buttons to access. Even more moves. There's still... I cannot see the ground in front of me. By the way. Is this a pit, or is this ground? This is ground. Wow. Like, there still isn't enough buttons to separate jump from use. So if you're next to something, you will automatically use the thing that you're interacting with if you want to jump. If you want to interact with something but you're not quite close enough to it, you'll jump when you want to interact. Why is there no button up here? Why is the switch over here? The elevator is clearly there. And now, finally, after so many years, we can continue this quest, all with some heroic music. And a really tall elevator. You know, should we really be trusting elevators while a giant statue is causing minor to major earthquakes? Explore the forgotten caves. Ah. Why can I not save my game?
What was that?
What was what?
Something moved. There. Light a torch.
So I can see us coming? Just stay close.
Ah, we're in an event. We're in an event right now. Or we can light a torch so we can see them coming. There's nothing wrong with that.
The air is different. Stale.
We've gone past the deep roads.
How can you tell? It's pitch black.
I can feel it.
Now we're in
We are practically blind down here.
the deep, deep roads. The deepest roads. We have penetrated the surface, bound to the deepest roads. Surely the darkspawn cannot stop our penetration.
Show yourselves.
Oh. Did he just die? They're using guns.
Not at all.
We did tell him that we needed a torch. Oh, they are in fact using guns. I was joking.
One down.
I mean, I suppose of any of the groups to be using guns, it might as well be the dwarves. They're the ones that tend to make the machinery. Also, what did they even shoot you with? No, David Hayter. Whatever your character's name was.
You deserved better. Ren never wanted this life. He was a cobbler, a good one. He joined the Legion to pay his father's debts. It kept his mother and brother from losing their caste. The poor and desperate here often sacrifice themselves for their family's future.
Ren was a good man. We'll honor his sacrifice.
He always seemed indestructible. The armor on these warriors. There's lyrium woven directly into the metal, and it's bonded to their skin. Impossible to remove, but I know what we'd find underneath. These are dwarves. Ren was killed by our own kind.
They don't look like any dwarves I've ever met.
Me neither. It just doesn't make sense. We've done nothing to them.
I mean, now we've done something to them.
I won't leave Ren like this. We must return him to the stone. Thrust Tonsha Saroka. I'll see this through, Ren. I promise.
Anything standing between us and the Titan will regret it.
Alright, so it's still challenging because everything has leveled itself up to level 23 to my level. But at the very least, I am bringing with me my stronger attacks. Which still took quite a bit to defeat one single gun-toting dwarf. Attack my targets. Oh, there's guys back there too. My bad. Nope. I will regenerate. You can also regenerate. You can also regenerate. Alas, the challenge in this game, I feel, is less to do with tactics and more to do with, like, enemies just have tons of health. They just turn into... What was the phrase I came up with? Stab sponges. All right, carry on slightly forward. Oh, hello. Now. There we go. Sir, do you have to fight right next to this pit? A Shabratol Bolter. I'm glad we know the names of our enemies. Just a slightly linear path. This area doesn't quite seem as big as the other places. Maybe this, yeah. It's hard to tell sometimes. Maybe this will loop around and go to the next elevator down into the deepest roads. Oh, hello.
This is like the Wall of Memories in Orzammar, but ancient. Very ancient. The words seem based in Dwarven, but I barely recognize this dialect.
Can you translate any of it?
Only fragments. The language is very different from what we speak today. This word keeps appearing. Shah Brital. I believe it means revered defenders.
Now, something to note about that, like, that is something that you can easily see in real life. Like, if you try to read the Canterbury Tales by Chaucer, that is technically English, but it is so far removed from modern-day English that it requires translation into English before you can actually really understand it. Like, effort needs to be made to interpret the Old English. Defenders of what?
What needs to be protected all the way down here?
Isatanal. Isatanal. Cut our tongues, entomb our bodies, watch over the Titan until it stirs. So the warriors who attacked us must be the Shabratol, And they're protecting a Titan.
Are you all right, Voltaire?
She seems to be getting really excited
I
about
can
the
hear
learning.
Ren's objections.
That's good.
Let's keep moving. If more of these memories exist, they may have the answers we need.
Let us save our game, proceed onward, fight the bad guys. Ooh. I'm glad I was able to pick that up, despite the fact that that was right below me. Attack that one! Ah, they've called in the reinforcements. Nope. Nope. This is a very awkward place to be fighting anybody. Ah. You know, sure, why not? Ah. There we go. Ow. Like, having all these obstructions, like, that's why, like, if you consider a lot of first-person shooters, like, not first-person shooters, should I say, third-person shooters. Like, you'll walk into a room in a more typical third-person shooter, especially the cover-based ones, and you'll see a whole bunch of, like, low barriers. And you know that there's going to be a fight there, because it's just barely high enough to give you cover. It functions as cover for you to participate in. Like, having all of these barriers and obstructions... Sorry, let me try to finish what I was comparing it to. Like, you have to have all of those cover-based areas because that's what the gameplay is built around. If you had a big open room in a cover-based shooter, like, the only option for you to do is, like, maybe flee? Die? Like, a lot of those cover-based shooters have health mechanics that are dependent on taking cover. And, like, sure, this game has a jump button, but having a lot of verticality and obstructions blocking your way gets in the way of the fight. Like, you look at Dragon Age Origins, a lot of its fights are in open rooms, because you always have you're always controlling your party at large, exploring these caverns, controlling everybody, fighting bigger fights with lots of people. Whereas the obstructions would get in the way of that.
Strange on the other side.
It would get in the way of the gameplay experience. And sure, it's more realistic to be fighting in, like, a cavern that has a lot of obstructions, but it is highly inconvenient. Oh, they blew up the bridge.
It wasn't a quake. Someone sabotaged the bridge, and we don't have time to fix it.
We
Someone
don't?
does not wish to be disturbed.
We've...
There must be another way.
There. That ledge. We can reach it if we're careful.
We've built several bridges during our campaign here. We had time to build those bridges. The ruined bridge needed to disappear. Like, why don't we have time to build this bridge? Also, I highly doubt I'm going to get all of the gears. I feel like I've passed by quite a few gears, simply because... Yep, there we go. Because I'm not pinging the ground enough, and they don't stand out on their own. Chronicles of a Forgotten War. A day after leaving Kadhalash, we noticed a change. The deep roads were practically abandoned. Torches would suddenly go out, leaving us to stumble through the dark and trip over discarded caravans. Then came the attacks, hard and fast. Father was one of the first. We heard breathing, slow and heavy, from a creature much larger than us. Father held out his arm and grabbed the front of my armor to make me stop. I saw its shadow move, darker than the darkness, and then my body jerked forward. It left Father's arm hanging, still grasping my chest plate. When did he write that? Like, this person clearly survived whatever attack that was so that he could write that down. Most mysterious.
Look there, more ancient carvings.
Aye, but these seem to be about the Titan. It shapes the stone. It is the stone. It sculpts the world within and without.
Wouldn't something that can sculpt the world have to be rather enormous?
It is called a Titan.
So it's a shaper of the stone, like you.
This implies that the Titans are actually sculptors, and our world is their clay.
If Titans shaped the stone, could they have actually created it?
The stone must have existed first.
Then the Titans would be the very first children of the stone.
That would have huge implications for my people.
If Titans can purposely reshape the world, the earthquakes could be the way they sculpt the stone.
But the quakes are destructive. Titans would mold the world, not smash it to pieces.
Depending on your perspective, change can be violent.
But if this is true, how could it be missing from the memories of Orzammar? Why would someone erase such an integral part of our history?
I was going to say, the Shape Rate has a history of erasing
Let's
their
answer
history
that after
based
we
on
stop the
politics.
earthquakes.
The rhythm is louder than ever. We're close.
But yeah, like, if you consider the idea of carving a sculpture out of stone, in order to carve a sculpture out of stone, you have to actively damage the stone. Like, you can call it what you want. You could call it shaping the stone. You could call it sculpting it, finding the sculpture within. But you are actively damaging the stone structure to create something new. Also, this is pretty cool looking. I was going to, like, now we're looking at lyrium veins. Bastion
Too
of
much
Pure.
of that stuff.
Sarah, I agree completely.
Lyrium veins, and they're completely untapped.
The Shabratol must mine lyrium somewhere. Their weapons and armor are laced with it.
Unless they found another way to harness it.
I claim this view for the Inquisition. Derelict lyrium mine. The lyrium deposits left to grow in this long-abandoned mine would fetch serious coin. If only reaching the place and then transporting the lyrium to the surface wasn't a venture just short of suicide. Oh my gosh, oh jeez. Can you, you're ruining the view, Sarah. Why are you? There we go. Oh no. Good enough. All right. Oop, and there's the third and final camp. Waiting for us. Attack that one. I will attack. The stone stalker. Oh my gosh. Ah, he moved slightly. There we go. Wait, how is the fight all the way up there? Guys. Guys. Nope. Nope. There we go. I'm definitely going to have to get more elf fruit after this. Oh, hello. I guess he's slightly tougher. Like, fighting just one guy, that's not so bad.
They built this to stop us. There must be some way to get through.
I like how the fact that Cassandra suddenly appeared, like, way up top there. Like, we could just climb it pretty easily.
This weapon of theirs cut through the barrier, but was destroyed in the effort.
Let's keep gathering their weapons.
I see no evidence of darkspawn here.
Let's just be grateful.
But there must be a reason they avoid this place.
Well, let's also take a look over this way. See if there's any, oh, ancient bloodstained gear. I feel like I'm going to have to be, like, pulsing the background every so often, like I'm some sort of submarine. Attack that one. Oh, what are you? One of the beasts? Nope, get up, thank you.
These creatures aren't deep stalkers. What do they eat to survive?
Lyrium?
Us, if we're not careful.
There we go. Oh, and there are these guys taking pot shots at us from up top. Damn it, Trebek. There we go. I need 5 of those to proceed forward. All right. I only got 1. Let's see if there's anything in this little nook. Oh, an operation. Attack that one. I appreciate the fact that I don't actually have to... Oh, there's a gunner as well. Have to be right next to these guys with my more powerful attack. Hit them. Ah. But their targeting seems a little off. Like, they've got a larger body. But it seems like you're always kind of stuck attacking their head. Whereas, like, a lot of our other creatures have more targeting points. And maybe that's the issue with this game, is, like, you can only hit a targeting point. Like, you've got those larger wyverns. The wyverns have 3 targeting points, which almost make it appear as though they have multiple health bars, but that's not true. I unlocked this expedition! You know, let's go back here. Set the expedition forward. I imagine we're now on, yep, we're on this page. The Inquisition has identified several Kretel dens in the caves near the entrance to the Bastion of the Pure. An experienced group of hunters could return with a stockpile of hides for sale and cull the Kretel population in the process. Our best sharpshooters will make short work of these beasts. Inquisition scouts have identified a location in the Forgotten Caverns where a construction team could build a bridge and replace the one previously destroyed, granting access to the other side of the chasm. It's worth paying for a team that is familiar with this kind of construction and is not afraid of heights. All right. What is the closest waypoint to any of that? Think here. All right, apparently I passed this by. Chronicles of the Forgotten War. Commander Olthan told us to move out. He didn't give details, only that there had been attacks north of Kadhalash, and the Crown was sending reinforcements. Father grabbed our axes, and we were off. I was a boy then, puffed up from a few victories in the provings. I didn't know what was going to be taken from me, but I would find out. The journey to Cadhalash was long and tiresome. Bored warriors make for poor drunks at camp. Father and I kept to ourselves, though I admit I longed to lose myself in a pint of ale, if only to have something to do other than sharpen my axe. Alright. So yeah, we did have time to build a bridge. I don't know what, Volta, was talking about. Because that was clearly an option. Attack my enemy. Oh my. Why are you immune to all this damage? Did you have like a buff or something that I was not aware of? If so, that is very, very rude. Still, a lot of defense, a lot of hit points. Oh, these are Earth Shakers. And there are two of them standing next to each other. So hopefully they both drop Earth Shaker weapons. But yeah, they're not necessarily doing anything that different. They're just stab sponges. Alright. Almost done with one. There we go. And now everybody can focus on the other, including me. Oh my gosh. How did I miss? Oh my god. No. Like, I hope this doesn't necessarily bode poorly towards the final boss of this region. That they're just going to be a never-ending stab sponge that just requires way too many attacks. All right. You know, I'm not even gonna argue with you this time. All right. All right. I don't think that's necessarily better than what I currently have, but nifty. And then this door doesn't go anywhere. All right, I think I'm gonna stop here for the night. Got any suggestions for something to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourselves a good night. Okay, I have absolutely no idea what's happening. I think I may have bugged an encounter. Because he is just very, very slowly walking backwards. Probably going backwards to the actual space where he's supposed to be fighting me. Rather than up on top of that area. Like, my plan was just to return to where I left off. And then this earth shaker just showed up out of nowhere, so yeah, this is probably from this particular encounter. Though there's a phrase that I've heard recently in regards to bugs, and that is, no matter how many playtesters you have testing out a game, you will never test a game as much as many hours as the players will on its first day. And the more complex the game, the more likely you'll end up having one random bug show up in the middle of nowhere for no particular reason and not understand why.